Hi guys, how's it going? My name is Giulio. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This video is going to be a quick overview of one of my backing tracks for guitar players, but also for saxophone and keyboard players. And why not? Also for singers, because this backing track was actually meant to be an original piece of music which I never released. It was written during a particular time in my life, very dark period, and even some of the chords they share in common the influence of worship songs. They're actually meant to be a melancholic, positive message that there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. It doesn't matter how bad is what you're going through, there's always some hope right there, maybe in the future, waiting for you. So this song starts with four very simple, positive, but at the same time melancholic chords. The first one is E major, basic position. The second chord is B major. The second chord is C sharp minor. And the fourth chord is E major. Now I play these four chords most of the times trying to get as much resonance as possible with a lot of reverb on the guitar, just because I like that cigarettes after sex type of sound. So E major is again played here, but then when I move into B major, I go all the way up here, which is in the 7th position, and I make sure to keep the E and the B strings open. And then I'm gonna play the C sharp minor on the 9th position, and then the A major on the 5th position, again making sure to have the B and the E strings open. I add a little bit of vibrato using this part on the Stratocaster. No bar, just a very basic mellow vibrato, which sounds like this. Then there is a chorus, I don't know if to call it a chorus, where I go to the C sharp minor, and then I play this mix of chords. I like to think about it as a B major with a D sharp on the lower note, and it sounds like this. Which then goes into E major, but this time played on the 7th position, and then E major. The resonance and that dreamy sound is created by the open E chord, the open E string, and most of the times the open B string. It's something that reminds me of when I was a teenager and I was listening to the very early records of Joe Satriani and Steve Vai. They had all these songs which were in D major or G major, and they had all these very dreamy chords that at the same time they sounded like vintage in a certain way because we're in 2026, but to me they're pure nostalgia. And then obviously the melody. The melody is doubled on synthesizers, and there is another electric guitar with a lot of reverb playing the melody. And the melody goes like this. So forth. Now this melody is mainly based on the shape of B major. But you can think about it just as any major scale will work basically over this melody, as long as you're sticking into the D major world, maybe E major if you want to add something which is a little bit more exotic. But in general, what I thought about this melody was being as natural as possible, as close as possible to a vocal melody. That's why there is so much space. And then this goes obviously over this. So the melody really is extremely simple and deeply rooted into the chord progression. Now, this is not really blues, obviously. Even I called the backing track ambient blues, but I like to think about this chord progression as something that, if you're a guitar player, you can improvise with C sharp minor pentatonic scale. At the same time, there is a bit of an influence from probably one of the most beautiful guitar pieces I ever heard in my life, Watermelon in a Easter Hay by Frank Zappa, which obviously contains these E major shapes. And that dreamy, almost dreamlike feeling that you get only in the world of G major and D major keys is just fascinating to me. Anyway, thank you for watching this video, and make sure to check my playlist, which are a collection of backing tracks for guitar players again, but you can think about that as just jamming on grooves, literally funk, blues, smooth jazz, and my own take on backing tracks, because I don't like backing tracks that are boring. I like backing tracks that challenge you, that challenge me.